Hey everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria. Thank you so much for tuning in today. For those of you who don't know me, I have a Master's of Science in Human Nutrition and a Bachelor's of Science in Biology, and I specialize in helping you to build a high functioning metabolism so that you can meet your aesthetic, health, and fitness goals. Based on what you want for yourself. But what I propose is a blueprint, a foundation of information that will allow you to create the variability based on your individual goals and desires for yourself by just learning the basic information of what your metabolism needs in order to be healthy. So I go through all of that in my coaching program that is currently on sale until the end of January. So it's coming up soon. This is the program. For those of you who are interested, I've been getting a lot of questions about hormones. I do go over a section in my program about hormone health. So I focus on the steroid hormones like cortisol, DHEA, estrogen, progesterone, talk about menopause, testosterone, and then the thyroid hormones. So those are all specifically what I go through because those are the ones that I get the most questions about. And those are the ones that have an impact on our metabolism when they are out of whack. So really we want to, learn this information that is contained within my coaching program so that you can keep your hormones healthy and happy so that you can be healthy and happy and reach the goals that you desire for yourself. Because like I said, this is a foundation of learning. I go over understanding the human metabolism and the fundamentals of an optimal diet and lifestyle. And then we go through how to apply it, diet and lifestyle planning, and then troubleshooting your results. That's where the hormone section is at. What I want to say about this program is that I'm not giving you just a generic meal plan to follow, a generic exercise plan to follow. All of this teaches you how to create your own. Now, if you work with me one-on-one, I will create a meal plan for you based on your diet and lifestyle at present, when you work, when you go to sleep, what you have access to, what your job is like, so if you want that specific personalized information, book a one-on-one consult with me and we can go over that. But the foundation of this is in my coaching program. I really designed this like a college course, a crash college course, because it's probably about 5 hours of information. It comes with this PDF and also video recording where I am teaching you everything as you go along. So you can listen to it, in the car and then print the PDF out and take notes on it as you go along. So you really want to make it your own. So that's what today's video is about, is how you want to take this protocol that's in this program and apply it, or the protocol that is in all of my videos. You can also watch those too for free. So today I'm going to be answering questions on my latest video, how to fail on a vegan diet. I am taking video requests right now too. I'd like to get in touch with bigger channels. I notice when I make little shorts and reels about bigger accounts, more popular accounts, then the algorithm will push out my content more people click on it, which means that more people are going to see this information. So if you can, when you see my reels or shorts, click on them, comment on them, because it helps my channel rise. It helps my Instagram rise. So my main handles that I use is Nutrition by Victoria on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay, so getting to the comments here. All right. Hadley's High Carb Kitchen. What's up, girl? I follow Victoria's protocols, been vegan for 9 years now, and I've had 2 people in the last 6 months shocked that I have a toddler because they thought I was still in high school. I'm almost 34. Hadley is in my coaching group, and she has had some really incredible results. I got to show you guys what she looks like. because she is just the epitome of what you can expect on this diet and protocol. And what I want to say too is that you are going to maximize your genetic potential here. Okay. So it doesn't matter if you have fat genes, skinny genes, fit genes, unfit genes, everybody's going to maximize what they have personally. And that's how this works for everybody. Okay. So in this little short that I made, I go through some chicas, or not just chicks, there's some men included as well, who all follow a high carb, low fat diet. And this is Hadley. Doesn't she look incredible? Yeah. She's a mom, and she's going, one of her biggest goals right now is to run a 5K in 20 minutes. So she's definitely going to hit that in the next year or so. I have a lot of faith in that happening, Okay, so let's get back to the video. Just want to show you guys an example of what's possible, because you see me all the time, but I don't I'm not talking about others too often, and the results that they are getting. So Hadley is a really great example. And she is someone who has been willing to stick to the protocol, because that is the biggest thing, is being consistent and sticking with it. I get a lot of questions in my coaching group about, like, well, what about this and what about that? And what I'll tell you is that if you are wishy-washy, you're not going to get the results, because you really have to commit to them, and then you have to be consistent. That those are the biggest virtues. And then being patient too, because a lot of people, if you're coming from any kind of carb restriction, you're going to gain weight initially, and a lot of people have a hard time sticking that out. So kudos to Hadley. She is looking fabulous. All right, Jesse Hoffman. I really enjoy learning the science of our body's function. I really enjoy learning the science of how our bodies function like this. It helps me stay firm in what I believe in. I've been vegan since 2016, and I've dabbled back into trying to eat chicken for a few months, but it tasted horrible and I felt so wrong ethically. I also gained excess weight. So that was a few years ago, and I had separated myself from the science and the health part of my diet and vegan belief. Not proud to say this, but it's not a smooth road for us all, but I'm still and always will be vegan because the science is there. That's awesome, Jesse. Thank you so much for leaving that comment. What I will say is that understanding the science is a really big part of having the validity that you need to move forward with this way of eating, or to just stay vegan in general. Because like I said in this video, how vegans, how to fail on a vegan diet, it all comes down to eating enough carbohydrate and understanding the importance of that. And if we've been indoctrinated over the last 20, 30 years that carbs are bad for us, then it's going to be really hard to get over that, like, cognitive dissonance. So by learning the information that is within my coaching program, it gets rid of dogma. Okay. It gets rid of opinions. It gets rid of this misinformation. So now you can identify it and kind of move forward. Right. So it's not just about knowing the information too. It's about applying it, and finding what works best for you. And I will say too, when I first tried to go vegan, I had a really hard time staying on the wagon because I didn't know how to eat enough. So, don't beat yourself up if that's where you're at right now. Just continue moving forward and understand that when you eat enough carbohydrates, you're not going to crave that stuff. Okay. Bosco, 550. Cucumber. Thank you. Cucumber was the code word for if you got to the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching the whole video. As far as I know, this is from Alex Mueller. As far as I know, fiber is an inhibitor of nutrient absorption. Simple sugars do a better job when you need the calories. So yes, that's true. If you eat too much fiber, you are going to be And this is subjective, right? It's going to be based on the individual. But too much fiber is going to, give you problems, and not enough fiber is going to give you problems. So you really want to find that Goldilocks sweet spot of what works best for you and your body. Now, having too much fiber can mean that you're eating primarily insoluble fiber. So a lot of the nutrients are going to stay bound up in the fiber. And because insoluble fiber moves through our body more like a brush, whereas soluble fiber moves through like a sponge and a gel. So it gives the body more time to absorb the nutrients. Soluble fibers also a prebiotic, so it helps to enhance the microbiome. And then if you're having carbohydrate with it, which most carbohydrates are found in soluble fiber foods. So, the two go hand in hand. You've got a nice combination for having really good gut health and really good gut function. I've found that by adding sugar to taste to my current diet of fruits and rice predominantly, and I also eat vegetables every day as well. Perfect digestion, flat belly. When I show you guys my belly at the beginning of these videos, this is after 2 meals and lots of water. So, yeah, it's currently 3:20 in the afternoon. So that just gives an idea, that you can have great digestion and maintain like a flat belly all day long when you're eating in a way that supports your GI function, and keeps those muscles nice and healthy and strong. Okay. And yeah, the sugar, it helps to increase iron absorption as well as many other nutrients, because you have those intestinal enterocytes that line your colon that can absorb that sugar right away, and it just helps them to work better. It's really a myth that sugar damages the gut. Sugar enhances gut functioning, but you want to make sure that you're not having a whole lot of fat, because that's the argument, right? Is it the sugar or the fat? Well, the fat's the problem, okay? We aren't designed as humans to take in a lot of dietary fat. So all of the chronic diseases that you can think of, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, they're all diseases of taking in too much fat that cause the insulin resistance that drives the inflammation, that drives the disease itself. So you just got to clean up the diet and get rid of the fat. Actually, most people who get their gallbladders out, it has to do with them taking in too much fat for their body, right? So again, that's going to be variable based on the individual, but yeah, gallbladder disease is a disease of taking in too much dietary fat. That's what the gallbladder is designed to do, is to release bile to help break down fat. But if you're taking in too much, you're going to stress the organ out, and then, it's going to not function the way that it's supposed to. Okay, David Palmisano. Fun fact, I live about 5 miles from the Dr. Moore's office in Florida. I said, I don't think he is actually a real doctor. If anybody knows what his true credentials are or has a link to them, please leave it in this video. I tried looking myself, but I didn't have a whole lot of time. So, yeah, I don't think he's actually a real doctor. Not that it would make a difference though, because he already has this reputation on social media of being this like healer, right? But there should definitely be a sign outside of his office that reads quack warning. And it seems like a lot of these like quacks live in Florida, like ironically. Okay, I asked Peter Rogers a question, but I didn't get an answer from him. Do you think, and this is from Led Rududude. I probably butchered that, sorry. I asked Peter Rogers a question, but I didn't get an answer from him. Do you think it is possible for a human being to thrive eating only potatoes, vegetables, and fruit? Sure, if you can get enough calories. I have a friend who eats that way, but potatoes for me don't work. I need rice to thrive. It just digests better for me. I feel like white rice is easier to digest than potatoes. The starch in the potatoes is pretty dense. I find that to be a commonality with a lot of people, where they're like, oh, I prefer white rice to potatoes, but then some people prefer potatoes to rice. So like I said, this is an individual thing. So you're following the guidelines, right? And then you're making it work for you. Peter Rogers eats potatoes, vegetables, fruits, and a little bit of legumes, as well as white rice. Great video. This is from Castro821. What are your thoughts on including more processed carbs like bran cereals that are fortified with minerals to up the calories? I said I would use sugar or rice products to bump up calories if fiber intake is already high to prevent GI distress, because bran cereal is typically high in insoluble fiber. And then I said, ultimately, though, you got to eat what you like when it comes to getting in enough carb calories. So you could have your cereal and put sugar on top and, get the extra calories in that way too. And if you're sensitive to bran, then you can switch to like a Rice Krispie or like a cornflake cereal. I personally am not into cereals. I like rice cakes and I like rice. And I'll put like, you can put sugar on rice and that, hits the spot too. Okay, David Palmisano again. What's up, dude? Cucumber, thank you for watching the whole video. Okay, fire breathing vegan one. Technically, don't you have a dogmatic diet? Most vegans I know might eat one way most of the time and then let loose at a restaurant, potluck, or someone's house, but I feel like you're pretty consistent with the same fruit, sugar, rice, and veg slash nori wraps. Even while traveling, I could be wrong. And she's right. I stick to the same diet because it works. I come from a background of having pretty bad digestion and I was diagnosed clinically with IBS as well as gastroparesis due to a malformation in my pyloric valve. So it took me a really long time to figure out a way to eat that was going to make me feel my best and have good digestion, a flat belly, and then also be able to get in the nutrients that I need in order to be healthy. So the last time I had my hemoglobin checked was September of 2024, and it was in normal range. And eating this way is the only diet that I've ever eaten that's produced that kind of result for me. I've always struggled with borderline iron deficiency anemia, and I think it had a lot to do with just absorption issues. So I said to this comment, I would say that my diet is very plain and boring, but it works because I'm meeting my daily need for carbohydrates and nutrition. So ultimately, that's what you have to focus on with your own diet is what do you want to eat that is high carb and low fat? Pretty much all of the most popular meals that people enjoy, burritos, pasta, pizza, ice cream, curries, soups, they can all be made high carb, low fat. So just find that what works best for you. I personally just like to eat like a fruit based slash Japanese style diet. It keeps me satisfied, healthy, and very productive. Many people around the world only have access to a few different kinds of like starches, fruits, and vegetables. So their diet kind of looks the same other than having seasonal variety. I'm talking about third world countries here, India, parts of India, parts of Africa, and parts of Asia where people are eating, their traditional diets, but it's also all that they have access to, rice, corn, potatoes, things like that. So kind of their carbohydrate staples. And then these people by default end up eating like 90% of their diet from carbohydrates. And then they don't have any of the diseases that we suffer from, like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, cancer, because they're eating mostly starch. They're not vegan. They're just high carb, low fat by default based on what is available. And they also don't have, significant health problems in the cultures that are able to get in enough calories. So we're talking about 2100 plus, according to the World Health Organization. I consider dogma, to be an opinion and a theory that somebody has, like raw veganism, and saying that that is the way, or this like detoxing stuff. So I use the example of like the Hippocrates Wellness Center versus the National Institute of Health, where one is anecdotal, information coming from the Hippocrates Wellness Center, which is also in Florida, versus the National Institute of Health that is constantly pumping out peer-reviewed clinical data. Another dogmatic idea would be believing in calorie restriction, CICO, believing in the keto diet, believing in the carnivore diet without understanding the science. So I don't believe that my diet's dogmatic in any kind of a way because it's completely backed by science, which I share in my coaching program. And then I've just tailored my diet to what works best for me. Great question, though. And then I said strict adherence to a high carb, low fat diet, it depends on one's goals. So this is where you can have some variability in macronutrient ratios. I prefer a 95-5 ratio, so 90% carbs to 5% fat, 5% protein. If you are somebody who's trying to gain weight, but still stay insulin sensitive and healthy, then you could eat a 70% carbohydrate intake, 20% protein, 10% fat. So you can change the macronutrient ratios based on what your goals are. And then you can also have the variability that she's talking about where you want to go out to eat. And I said, what we're talking about is just changing the macronutrient ratios of the food, right? From being carb centric to having more like fat and protein, right? So that's what it really comes down to. I guess I'm just looking at it all like a scientist, right? Instead of it being like in a food experience. Now, I just don't need that, I guess, that kind of like stimulation. When it comes to eating, like I just like to eat the foods that make me feel my best, and that's what I stick to. And I just said for somebody who is at their ideal weight, which would be like a normal BMI, dabbling in, higher fat options here and there, could work for you if that's what you want to do. But if you are somebody who needs to improve your insulin sensitivity because you're currently insulin resistant due to previous dieting habits, i.e. calorie restriction, carb restriction, a high fat diet, etc., there's lots of variables here. You got genetics involved, but it's primarily diet and lifestyle related. So even if you have like fat genes, right, you can eat in a way that is going to still get you in the normal BMI range and give you an aesthetic that is desirable and really great health. But you'll have to be stricter, okay? If you do come from like genetics that are programmed for fat storage, you'll just have to be stricter with your fat and protein intake, and working your diet and lifestyle to promote insulin sensitivity. Okay, and then I also talked about my GI disorder already, that a fruit and rice-based diet just works really well for me. Oils, fats, and too much fiber can trigger symptoms, so I just stay away from those foods. Okay, BBRX cucumber, user CS1XZ cucumber. Thank you so much for watching. DJ FE4CK, without grains and legumes, I couldn't stay 100% plant-based even if I ate 5,000 calories of fruits and roots a day. You don't have to just eat fruits and roots. Again, you just have to do what's going to work best for you based on the goals that you have for yourself and what you enjoy eating. I work with lots of clients who aren't exclusively vegan. They understand that in order to get the results that they want, that they have to minimize their animal product consumption, but you can still become more insulin sensitive, increase your insulin sensitivity by just following the principles that I've outlined in my coaching program. And then Tom D6819 cucumber. Thank you so much for watching. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for all these comments and questions. Like I said, if you are interested in my coaching program, it's only going to be on sale for a few more days. So make sure you take advantage of that offer. And leave any comments or questions down below. And just remember that this is not a one-size-fits-all program, okay? This is learning the foundational information that you need in order to make it work for you. All right, thank you so much for watching. Leave any comments or questions down below. Press like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.